Barnaby Joyce will be or is joining us right now. Barnaby Joyce, good to see you. Congratulations. You are still the member for New England.
What?
You say that you're not. You say that you're not sad about.
Congratulations, you lost your job.
Well, you say you're not sad about it. I imagine you're not all that
No,
thrilled.
I'm not. Oh, look, actually, it's not that bad. I mean, I am really happy with basically what we achieved. I was happy holding every seat. That was important. So when I look around the room and see all the guys and girls there, I think that's a great outcome. I'm really happy with that, and I understand politics. As soon as you sign your pre-selection form, you understand how politics works. And I had an incredible honour. I was the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia. What an incredible honour that was. Yeah,
certainly. And so, I mean, you point out that you won all the Nat seats. You had 3 retiring members. You got an extra Senate spot back, but you still couldn't hang on to the job. I mean, you understand politics. It seems a little bit unfair.
Yeah, but that's life. You know, you don't. You just. No point crying in your beer. Just move on.
Well, how do you move on? I mean, do you expect to have a ministry? Like, what do you do from here?
Well, that's in the lap of the leadership. We'll see where that ends up, and I'll leave that up to them. But you know, I love my New England. I love my home, and it's going to be great to be able to spend more time there and to be able to get around, because when you're Deputy Prime Minister, you've got a lot of things that take you down to Canberra, very necessary things. So I think it's really important. The issues, especially around defence of this nation, are incredibly important. And I genuinely wish the Labor government all the very best with that. I'm actually very happy that they've got a majority in their own right. That's incredibly important, because you're going to really need, this nation's going to have to make some really tough decisions. And some of them are not going to be popular decisions, but they're going to have to be made to keep us safe. And so I'm glad that they don't have to go bargaining with independents, which would be chaos.
When you look at your career, Barnaby, you haven't always had the greatest impact as leader. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, sometimes you've been able to affect change more from the backbench or in the Senate. You know, you were given that maverick tag under the Howard government. So what is this new era of Barnaby, if you like?
I don't know. We'll see what comes our way. Yeah, in the past, I was really happy. I remember fighting against the carbon tax when I basically was the only one there fighting against it. But then in the end, it changed the Labor Party leadership, and they were in the government. So yeah, you can do a lot of really good things from the backbench if you focus and come forward with cogent arguments. What I am excited about is I think Australia does have to move towards nuclear energy. I think that's incredibly important. We really have already. We're getting ourselves nuclear submarines, so it shouldn't be such a quantum leap. We do have a nuclear reactor. It's bang smack in the middle of Sydney, and no one seems to worry about it. So we should be moving towards small modular reactors. We should actually be making them and exporting that technology. If you want to be a smart country, then find something that's really clever and hard to do, such as making small modular reactors that are air modulated rather than graphite modulated, and start exporting not only uranium, which we obviously think is morally appropriate, but also the technology to use it safely with it.
I mean, the coalition, the Liberals and the Nats aren't quite on the same page when it comes to energy and climate change and how to get to net zero, or when. With this nuclear component that you're talking about, do you think that would, be a détente, would end the nuclear war, the energy wars?
Well, let's hope it doesn't end the nuclear wars. Look, I think that's what's really important is you've got to have baseload power that's constant. Otherwise, you can see what's happening to power prices now. They're going through the roof. I think that with there's too much intermittent power and the inability to replace coal-fired power stations with something that is reliable, baseload and continuous, and that should say to us that we've got to really strongly consider nuclear. Otherwise, you're going to have to build some massive pump hydros. I don't think we've really built one yet. And they take an awful long time, and they're also incredibly expensive building pump hydro. So, and once you add that to the cost of your renewables such as wind towers or solar, it makes that power also very dear.
There's been a lot of talk about this election result and also the Nationals' so-called responsibility to the Liberal seats in the inner city. How do you see that?
I just see that as wallowing. It's ridiculous. I mean, my job, on behalf of the party was to win national seats, and I did that. And to say, oh, well, the reason I lost my seat in the middle of a city was, that person way over there, well, that just says that you weren't doing a good enough job where you were. It's just ridiculous, and it's such a great shame we lost people like Josh Frydenberg, but really and truly, how many seats for the Nationals would you rather have given up so the Liberal Party could win their seats? I wasn't going to give up any of my seats. I wasn't going to give up any of our seats. I was going to make sure they all got across the line. And that's one thing I'm happy about. My whole time as both deputy and leader, I never lost a seat. In fact, I think in every election I picked them up. I did. We picked up either a Senate seat or a lower house seat in every time as either the leader or the deputy leader.
Well, a win's a win, of course, and this is how the system works. But I guess a lot of your opponents talk about a swing against the Nationals. You didn't lose these seats, but a swing against you in some of those seats up the coast of New South Wales. What do you say about that?
Well, that's not completely correct. We had swings towards us in Kennedy, in Clare on primaries, in Mallee, in Gippsland, and Kevin Hogan held his seat. Pat Conahan held his seat. Look, at the end of the day, you win your seat or you lose it. That's the main thing. And you don't lose your job because there was a slight swing against you. That it doesn't work like that. You go out to win your seat, and we did, and it was very, very difficult. Remember, you were up against sort of it's time. You're up against a sense of people wanted to see what a change would look like, and we kept all our seats, and that's what the job of a leader is. I did that. I'm happy to do it. I'm really actually, I was always going to transition in any case out of the leadership, so I'm not crying in my beer.
What do you mean?
That's life.
When were you going to transition?
Yeah, this term. I said that to the party room.
You'd made that personal decision. Oh, when did you say it to party room? Sorry.
I said it actually when I took over the leadership, and I've said it numerous times. I was always going to transition out.
Why is that?
Because I just think that's good for the leadership of the party to renew. I saw my job as to get the party to a strong position.
Yep.
And then set it up for a change. I still want to keep doing my job in New England. Make no mistake about that. But I wanted to make sure, and whatever job I get. But I said that when I actually took back the leadership, that it was a process of transition and to get us through the election. And that's precisely what I did.
Okay, so you've been leader, you've been to the backbench before, you've held ministries. So you're saying that's it? No more leadership ambitions?
No, I was transitioning out. I didn't say I was transitioning in. I was transitioning out.
But I know you, Barnaby. And so you can really transition out. You can also harbour some ambition to transition back in at some stage.
No, we're not. No, Laura, I love you to death, but no, we're not playing this game. I said before when I took it back that I was going to. It was for the purpose of holding all our seats and then handing it over, and that's exactly what I did. Now, maybe I would like to have handed it over a little bit later on, but that's life, and the party's made its choice. That's democracy, and I'm happy with the result I got. I'm very happy, especially. I hope they keep building things like the Inland Rail. That's going to be incredibly important for our nation, and the dams. I hope we see the Labor Party actually standing up to the Greens and building the dams, not backing away from that. And we've got to do something and be brave. Go with nuclear power. Just make sure that we make a substantive statement there. I think that on the Murray, it's really important we knock out that 450 because that's been like a sword of Damocles been held over the head of so many of those river communities that rely on the commerce from irrigation. No, not even if they're not irrigators, they rely on it, and that's got to be got rid of.
Okay, all right. So Barnaby, no longer leader, but not quiet either. Is that a good summation? I'm a member of Parliament, so you're not going to. I'm not a Cistercian monk. But I won't. I'm not. I'm really happy. People got to understand. I'm happy. I've done my job. I'm really happy with it. Okay, that is a happy Barnaby, everyone. Well, congratulations, the re-elected member for New England. We'll speak soon, no doubt. Thanks so much.
See you, Laura.